Hello, my name is Gloria Castillo, and this is Milestone 2 of Fire and Ice. This here I've got level 2, and like the previous video and the previous map, it didn't take very long for this level to derail from its original plan over here. I did manage to get it all the way up, but again, the amount of rooms that I had blocked out on the paper map was insufficient for how long I wanted this map to feel. And even then, my playtesters gave me feedback letting me know that, hey, this map felt shorter, way shorter than the last map, but I think that's because they took a bit longer to get the hang of the learning curve, and that might be a contributing factor as to why they think this level felt shorter. I want to say it has roughly the same amount of rooms as the previous level, but I am thinking of adding an extra room or two to give it that length, and maybe adding another extra boss. But here, let me get this on to, let me check milestones here. I did manage to get better graphics to level 1. I can revisit that towards the end here. I've got level 2 blocked out, enemy placement added. Music I still might tweak through. I'm not liking too much the theme song I've got going on. I did my personal test, got my nephews to playtest level 1 and level 2. It was a bit hard to get them pinned down to playtest. I had actually been waiting for them to playtest and give feedback so I could make this video, but since it's the beginning of the school, their classes start next week, they were out shopping and getting ready for school, helping out around the house, and it was a bit hard to get them pinned down. But in the meantime, I moved on to adding better graphics. But that's what I've got so far. Let me make this full screen, give a better view. We've got the initial room here with a new addition. These blocks gives a little safe encounter as to figure out what to do with these blocks. Didn't take my nephews long to figure that one out. Although Jay did take a bit longer to figure out, hey, you can shoot these and they'll break through, whereas A kind of breezed through this part. They also got up here, and here we've got a first introduction to, let me get that out of the way, our first introduction to a new, what would be considered a level gimmick, a conveyor belt. Since this is supposed to be more of a factory style area, going in from the outside into a sort of secluded, closed off cave area where you go into a factory. And again, they have another learning curve where they have to remember, hey, we gotta use our power-up beam to get back up here. But Pickman is up here, so he starts throwing picks down, and players have to be wary about that. Come back up here. Oh, residual. Okay, that's why I had it there. So it will stay on. Okay. Maybe if I... There you go, you don't have to see it. Then here we've got enemies we've already encountered before, followed again by some power-ups. And this time we've got our... I can't remember what they're called. But if you stand on them too long, they open up and drop you down. So this is a high-stress area where you have to go do quick thinking, jump, and then you realize, okay, this is conveyor belt, I have to jump quick. Onto this new gimmick, which is a block that falls down. But it typically gives players enough time to reach the secondary block before it falls down all the way, and players go, okay, I know what that does. And so got a couple more of those gimmicks just to reinforce the idea. which we now have reached the peak point, which is here. From here on, we start descending down deeper into the earth to get to the core and figure out what's up with the earth, you know? And down here we've got another enemy. This area, it kind of looks odd. On the game it looks like this, and it's got, again, the blocks from the first level, the first room, which players now know, okay, I can break these, what's on the next room? And I have the section broken off so you can't come to the edge and the camera will pan with it. The camera will only reach here. So players' natural curiosity has to go, I want to know what's behind that, for them to be able to get this extra life. So down here we've got another area where it's just an energy tank, followed by this. A had a very hard time with this. He did not like it as all. When we come down, drop down here, we've got a little refill for health bars, and we got a new enemy here, which is not the safest environment, and they walk pretty slow, and it's far enough that players can go, okay, I know what that does. Same with these characters. They both actually ended up really liking this section. It's just all drop down, but you have to move quickly. And there is a way to skip it without having to kill the enemies, which is by using dash as the enemies go through, because these guys move side to side. So if you use dash as you're going through, you'll bypass the enemies. And once they figured that out, they had a blast going through this. Which brings us down to here. These enemies, they just roll around, and less of a high stress level area, where going from here, high stress, to a more tamer, just jumping around. And going through here, we have an area where players also get a choice of going through the top conveyor belt, which has the increased issue here of this, I can't remember, a clamp that comes down and hits the conveyor belt. So players have to time it right and dash through to get through unharmed. Or they can come down here and face one of the mets. We have this area too, similar, except this one just drops off. The pigman over here, again, A did not love Pigman at all. He actually insisted that I get rid of him and never show him up in any of the levels ever again. But we'll see how I take to that. And finally we got our room over here, which kind of gives a difference of atmosphere. It changes the background and adds a little more to the importance of this is different, something big is coming up. And Jay did not trust this room at all initially. He did not want to pick up or touch any of the items because he knew something was up and he didn't like it. And over here we've got our final boss here, with one of the gimmicks being the conveyor belts. I can do a semi rundown of the level. I'm not on my best gaming abilities right now. I don't know what I did, but I did something to my thumb which injured it and gives it limited mobility. I've actually got a doctor's appointment tomorrow to check that out. But I can do a little gameplay of this. Whoop. So here we just go through. There is an issue with the game that I'm not completely sure how to fix, which is enemies disappearing. If they fall out of if they walk off the screen, the enemy is gone. Like, there he goes, and he's gone. Not sure how to resolve that. gives them enough moment. Get all of that. Oops, wrong one. Okay. And it's a kind of a way to bypass the level enemies. Instead of having to fight them, you just can avoid them. Again, low stress area right here. And I think that's as far as I can go with my thumb. And that's as far as I've gotten right now. Going forward, I will have to probably add in an extra room or two to give it a more similar feel. And just add another secret area because I think those two don't have exactly what I was looking for the secret areas. And I'm thinking of adding a boss level, or in this area, extending this piece out to where there's another line of conveyor belts, and added enemies and a mini boss. But maybe somewhere else that's not right before the boss, because having a mini boss and then a boss, that's not the greatest setup right there. Let me save as, and let me, oops, level 1. I'm still working on the background on this one. I actually forgot till now, but I've got added better graphics to this, and I will have to change this area. They both bypassed the secret area here, so I'll probably add it a little bit higher, bring this up by 1 or 2 blocks, and shorten this up here so it's just a tiny block area where Mega Man can only stand if he's just right there. And they both realized this area was here and really enjoyed grabbing the extra items up here. And that was it for this video. Thank you.